Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarai and today I'm going to be teaching you step by step how to do chocolate covered strawberries. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and what better gift to give your significant other or somebody that you love some homemade chocolate covered strawberries. It's affordable, fast, easy, yummy, you name it, and I'm going to show you how to do that from home. So let's go ahead and get into it. For starters, you need the strawberries. I got these from Kroger's. Distilled vinegar so that way we can clean the strawberries. Some chocolate. This is my favorite chocolate to use. The Ghirardelli candy melts are really good. Or they're called Ghirardelli melting wafers. We're gonna need something to dip our strawberries in. I'm gonna be using this glass today. Some bowls and a strainer, parchment paper, a baking tray, toothpicks, mini cupcake liners, piping bags, oil-based food coloring, and some fun sprinkles to decorate with. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna be teaching you guys step by step how to do these strawberries. Step number one is we're gonna wash our strawberries. All of your fruits without skin, you definitely need to wash so that way you can take any dirt or any residue that's left on the strawberries. You don't want to dip that into the chocolate and then dirt falls into the chocolate and you're eating unwashed berries. If you have a fruit and vegetable solution to wash them, you can definitely use that. But if you don't have that on hand, then you can just use some distilled white vinegar. We're gonna wash the strawberries in some cold water with a splash of the distilled white vinegar. Gonna let it sit for 5 to 8 minutes. You definitely don't want to leave the strawberries in there for longer than 8 to 10 minutes because then the strawberries start to absorb that water and that'll be bad later down the line. So only keep them in the vinegar or water solution for about 5 to 8 minutes max. Make sure you set your timers. Now that we've washed our strawberries in the water vinegar solution, we're gonna dry them off with some napkins. You wanna be real gentle whenever you dry them. Pat them very softly. You don't want them to be like squished and dented. So make sure you just pat them gently until they're fully dry. You wanna get underneath the leaves to make sure that there's no wet spots at all. The reason you need to fully dry off the strawberries is because whenever you mix water and chocolate, the chocolate will begin to seize up if there's any sort of water, any remnants of water, and it'll ruin your chocolate batch. So you need to make sure that your strawberries are completely dry before you start dipping. Let them sit for about 20 to 30 minutes while you get all your other ingredients together. Another tip too is you want to dip your strawberries at room temp. You want to make sure that they're not straight out of the fridge whenever you dip them, because as soon as something cold hits the chocolate, it's going to start hardening and it'll bring down the temperature of your chocolate. To get that uniform dipped strawberry aesthetic look, go for the triangle ones. This is going to give you the prettiest look on your strawberries. Another hack too, the baking tray that we're going to use to set the strawberries on, since it's metal, we're going to put it in the fridge so that way whenever we dip the strawberries and we set it on the cold metal, it'll make the strawberry chocolate set and keep it from like blobbing so much on the parchment paper. So we're gonna pop this in the fridge a good like 5 to 10 minutes and it'll be good to go. We're gonna get our chocolate ready. For the milk chocolate, I'm gonna use this small bowl. I'm doing 6 designs today. 2 of them are gonna be milk chocolate. That's why I'm using a small bowl. If you're gonna make a big batch of strawberries, use a bigger bowl. For the bowl, pick something that's smaller and narrow. Don't use a big shallow bowl because then the chocolate's only gonna cover the base of it and it's gonna be hard to dip the strawberry in it. The more narrow and deep, the better coverage it has on the strawberry. We have our chocolate ready to go to start melting. I don't want to start melting it just yet. Once you start dipping, you don't want to stop. So you need to make sure that your work area is ready to go. And make sure you have your tray out with parchment paper. You have your sprinkles on hand. But if the chocolate does start to harden, not a big deal either. You can just rewarm it up, but then you have to wait for it to come back down to the right temperature to start dipping again. So before we start doing that, we want to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row. Then we can start melting the chocolate. For the sprinkles, I'm going to be using these 2. This one is from Wilton, the Valentine sprinkles. You can find this at your local Walmart or HEB. I think they carry those there as well. These are really cute. They're little hearts, very Valentine's. Then we have this one. It's from Brother Sister Design Studio. I got these from Hobby Lobby. We'll have 1 bowl for the sprinkle and then we'll have 1 bowl for the sprinkles. I'm gonna add that to the workstation. We have our workstation ready to go. Our strawberries are dry. Now we're gonna start melting our chocolate. Whenever it comes to chocolate, there's a lot of different methods out there to melting your chocolate. You can do the double boiler situation where you get a pan, fill it up with a little bit of water, let it steam, put a glass bowl on top of it, and put the chocolate in the glass bowl and it like slowly melts your chocolate. So that's one method. Another method is the microwave method. Whenever it comes to melting the chocolate, you have to be very patient. If you do too much of a time frame all at once, it can end up scorching your chocolate, burning your chocolate, and then you basically ruin that batch of chocolate. Now we know that chocolate can be a little bit pricey, so slow and steady is the best method for this. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be using the Ghirardelli melting wafers. Personally for me, this one has the best taste to it. I feel like it melts the easiest for me, and it's also super easy to find in stores, so you don't have to worry about ordering it or waiting for it to ship. You can go to your local grocery store. They have it at Walmart, Kroger's. If you're a Texan, they have it at HEB. More than likely you'll be able to find it anywhere. And like I said earlier, I've tasted a couple of like the melting chocolates and not all of them have the same taste. This one's definitely probably like one of the best ones for me. So on to how do we melt the chocolate, how long, all of that good stuff. The way that I like to melt my chocolate is in intervals. The first interval, it's gonna be for 30 seconds, and then after that, we're gonna take it out, stir it up, put it in there for another 15 seconds, stir it up, 15 seconds, stir it up, back and forth, until we see that it's the consistency that we like. From my experience, you don't want the chocolate to be fully melted out of the microwave. I kind of like to have it to where there's maybe a little bit of chocolate left in there, so that way it can cool down the chocolate as it comes out. I'll show you guys whenever I do it, but like I said, slow and steady. So for now, we're gonna put it in there for 30 seconds. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like after that, and then I'll walk you guys along through it. This is what it looks like after 30 seconds. So as you see, it's starting to melt a little bit. We're gonna give it a little stir. Also take note that whenever you melt it in glass, the glass will get warm too. Keep that in mind because it'll make the chocolate melt faster. After that first 30 seconds, it's already looking good. We're gonna put it in for another 15 seconds. This is what it looks like after another 15 seconds. Basically melted already. You see how fast that melted? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I think it's ready to go. You see how there's barely any chips in there? The consistency that you want it is you want it to kind of pour over like that. You want it to be smooth, and whenever you do this, you don't want there to be any, we call it like elephant skin, it's like cracking. If it starts doing that on the spatula, then that's how you know the chocolate's too hot, and you definitely don't want to dip your strawberries in it because it'll make the strawberries just look all cracked and not pretty and shiny and glossy. That's ready to go. For the strawberries, I like to add toothpicks to help have more grip on it versus just gripping the green part of it. If you don't have toothpicks, you can definitely dip it like that. But if you want to get more of like a clean look, use some toothpicks. Just stick it in on the top, one on one side, one on the other side. That way, whenever you go to dip, you can go just like this. And it makes it easier, more grip. For the bigger strawberries, I like to use 2. And if you have like a small strawberry or you're dipping small berries, then just use 1. The strawberries are ready to go. I brought out the baking sheet from the fridge. I'm gonna add some parchment paper to line it. So now that we have the chocolate ready to go, we're gonna take our strawberry, make sure all of the leaves are picked up just like this. Whenever we dip it, we're gonna go straight down. If your bowl's a little shallow, then you can tilt your strawberry to the side. You wanna make sure that you go as high up as you can on the strawberry to get that pretty finished professional look to it. Try to make sure you cover most of the pink. Pull it out, go straight up, and you're gonna let the excess drip. Just like that. You can give it a little shake. Make sure that you get as much of it off of the berry. Now that you have your beautiful dipped berry, set it on your parchment paper like that. If a little blob starts to form at the bottom, because the baking tray is cold, it'll help freeze it faster. I also have another hack how to remove that later. We got 1 strawberry down, straight down, shallow. So again, we're gonna go around in a circle. Make sure we get as much of it as possible. Straight up. I'll let the excess drip off. If you want to, you can go in and dip it 2 times, or you can just dip it once. Personally, up to you, your preference. If you want more of an aesthetic finished look, dipping it twice does make it look more finished and prettier. You wouldn't be able to see the divots as much in the strawberry if you dip it twice. For the most part, with 1 dip, it already looks really nice. For the sake of this video, I'm gonna dip it twice. You see how there's no more dripping off of there and it looks pretty solid already? Now I can go back in and dip it again. You don't wanna go up and then go back down and dip it 2 times like that because it's gonna mess up the strawberry. So you want to let it get a little bit more solid, and don't set it down because if you do set it down, it's going to have that blob at the bottom again. So if you are going to do the double dip method, hang on to it, wait till it stops dripping, see that it's fully solid, then go back in and dip it again. So second dip. Ready to go. Really pretty. We've got the chocolate ones dipped. We can move this chocolate aside. If you have any remaining chocolate, you can add it to sandwich bags, airtight containers to store it for next time. You can definitely use this multiple times until you're done using it. You can use it to drizzle other strawberries. We're gonna do the 30-second first, mix it up, put it in for another 15 seconds, so on and so forth. I am gonna go in with some sprinkles at the top. If you do wanna add sprinkles directly on the strawberry, you wanna make sure that you add the sprinkles whenever it's wet, unless you do a drizzle design. Because the drizzle is gonna be wet going on, that's whenever I can add the sprinkles. I do want to make sure I have the sprinkles ready. I'm not going to be doing white strawberries. Anytime you want to do a color for your strawberries, you do white chocolate and then you'll add the color on top of it. For the color, I'm going to be using the brand Color Mill in the shade Hot Pink. These are all of the colors that you can get with it. You can do a little bit, it'll give you a little baby pink. You add a little bit more, it'll give you that medium pink. Then you can go full on hot pink with more drops of it. This brand and the Artesian Accent Chamomile Chocolate or Chocolate Chamomile, that's also another really good brand that I feel like gets slept on. Those are definitely really my top two food colorings. Another thing too, whenever you're doing the chocolate, you always want to add an oil-based coloring. You never want to do gel or water-based whenever you're adding it to chocolate, because again, the chocolate will seize up, it'll get hard and ruin the chocolate. You won't be able to really come back from it if you do add water or gel to the chocolate. So always make sure that it's oil-based whenever you're adding it to chocolate. That's why I like to use Color Mill, and that's why I like to use the Artesian Accents brand. We're gonna go ahead and melt the chocolate first. You never add this before melting the chocolate. You want to make sure your chocolate's melted and ready to go. Then you start adding your coloring to it and getting that color that you want. Before I add the chocolate in there, I'm gonna stick the toothpicks and the strawberries. I am gonna add some sprinkles to it too, so I'm gonna make sure these are open before I put the chocolate in. I'm going to pour some of these, very slowly, pour these strawberries into the bowl. Yeah, working with small sprinkles is always fun because they fall everywhere. You'll be sweeping your floors for a couple days and continue to find more sprinkles somewhere. That's enough, that's really all we need. Now we're gonna do our other Valentine sprinkles. If you're doing the spoon method, you can always just put the sprinkles back unless you get chocolate in the sprinkles. But if not, then you can put them back into the jar, use them again for next time. This is what it looks like after 30 seconds. Give it a mix. Some of the chocolate's melting. It's not fully melted yet. Whenever it starts melting, it does start getting smaller and smaller. So if you need more chocolate, you can always add more around this stage where it's starting to go down. So that way it has more space for the unmelted chocolate. Put it in for 15 seconds. This is after the next 15 seconds. The bottom's melted a lot more. Again, remember, if you're doing it in glass, you have to take that into account. Right now, there's still a lot of wafers in it, you see. Probably gonna put it in maybe one more round of 15 seconds. Sometimes the rest of it will melt at this stage. So once you mix it all the way through and you've mixed it a couple of times and you still see some in there, then that's whenever you can add it for another 10 to 15 seconds or so. It's looking really good though. Very promising. Has that little flow to it. So it's almost there. 15 more seconds. Stir really good. That was definitely perfect timing. You kind of want to eyeball the chocolate. Again, I'm only warming up a cup of chocolate in glass. It took me 30 seconds and 2 15-second intervals. Again, you want to do this. If it starts cracking right here or getting the elephant skin, that's whenever you know it's too hot. You need to let it cool on its own for like a minute or so. Stir it, check it again if there's still elephant skin or if it's still doing that cracking. Let it sit a little bit longer. From the elephant skin stage, more than likely if you let it sit and stir it every 30 seconds to 1 minute, it should cool down and come back to normal temperature and hopefully come back to this state. If your chocolate looks like this, you did it. We're gonna add our pink food coloring. If you were to do white strawberries, you would want to do it now. Get your white strawberries out of the way. Then you go in with your colored strawberries. That way you don't have to waste double chocolate to melt another bowl of white chocolate. That's also another tip too. Always start from lightest, then go darker. Try to keep it within like the same shade ranges. I'm gonna do about 2 little tiny drops just like that. The color's really concentrated. Whenever you start mixing it, that color's gonna pick up really quickly. At this point, it is a really pretty baby pink. You could stop here if this is what you're going for. I might add one more dot to it. You see how concentrated the pink is? If you add a big dollop to it, you're gonna get dark pink. If you're gonna add a little bit to it, you're gonna get the light pink color. Build your way up if you wanna add a little bit more. Now it's at the perfect color that I was looking for. Very pretty. This one, since there's enough depth on it, we can go straight down and come straight up and it won't hit the bottom. Go straight down, let it coat all of the top, come straight up, let it drip all the excess. It's almost dry. Dip it one more time. Get the color all the way around. You see how you can see through the skin? Again, if you're doing that from home, this is good enough. Like if this is just for you and your husband or whoever and it's just like a fun night, you can definitely stop here. But if you're trying to do this for like a business or to sell to people, I would probably give it a second dip so that way it can look more elevated. For this last strawberry, I'm going to be doing one of the designs. It's going to be a dipped strawberry with some sprinkles on the top. Go ahead and bring the sprinkles I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using these little dotted ones. Now that the drip slowed down, we can move the chocolate to the side, bring the sprinkles forward. We're gonna sprinkle it up at the top. We're gonna do like a little ombre sprinkle design. Flip it around, just a little sprinkle. Super easy, not really any technique. And then you have this cute little sprinkle design. How cute is that? One design down, there's this extra piece of chocolate here at the bottom. What I like to do is I like to use this to shave off the bottom of it. You want to be really gentle with it too because you don't want to shave too much off and then you have a hole. No, it's not as noticeable. This one has more on the side. Again, this is if you wanted to just be more uniform, more of like an aesthetic look. The pink strawberries look pretty good because we double dipped it and we let it dry more before we set it down. Now we're gonna move on to doing the drizzle on the strawberries. There's two options to which bag you can use. There's a pastry bag if you want something more professional. I really like this material. You can buy a pack of 50 or 100 off of Amazon. I'll have this linked on my Amazon. Then there's the sandwich bag. This is a really great affordable option. It works the same. This just has a zipper up at the top. But for this video, I'm gonna be using both. Starting with the sandwich bag, open it, flip the top down, make your hand into a C. Have the excess go over your hand while you hold it. If you need both of your hands, you can use a cup. Make sure the top of it's narrow to where you can wrap it around it. Pour the chocolate in it, flip the top over, but I'm gonna be using my hand. I'm gonna wrap it around my hand, make sure it's hollow, pour the chocolate in, flip it over, make sure all of the chocolate is to one corner, seal off the bag and make sure that there's no air in it. Twist the bag right above where the chocolate's at. Then we're gonna cut a little bit off the tip before we start drizzling. I recommend before you start, practice on parchment paper or the back of a spoon or your spatula. Practice the drizzle side to side motion before you do it on the strawberry so you can get a feel for it. Whenever you do the drizzle, you wanna make sure that the chocolate is fully melted. If there's any lumps in the chocolate, it'll ruin the bag because it'll clog it. If you squeeze too hard, it can burst the bag. So make sure your chocolate's fully melted. If your chocolate starts to harden, you can put it back in the microwave for 5 seconds and do little 5-second increments and just massage the bag as you're doing it in the microwave so that way you can make sure everything's melted. Whenever you're doing the sandwich bag or pastry bag, but especially the sandwich bag, you want to be more gentle with it because these pop more often than the pastry bag. So just be careful and make sure that you're applying a gentle amount of pressure. Massage the bag first, push away some of the icing from the tip, and I'm going to cut a very small tip at the bottom. You don't want to cut a big hole because then you're going to have to throw the bag away, use another bag because it's going to be way too big. For the drizzle, you want it to have a thin line, so you want to make the hole small. Just the smallest tip at the top. If you need it a little bit bigger, you can cut a little bit more off. For me, that's a good size right there. Whenever you drizzle, start from the top and then drizzle downwards. You want to keep the speed consistent and you want to keep the pressure consistent. If you go too slow, you see how it's going to ruin it like that. Whenever you go faster, straight line. So again, if you go slow, it's going to look squiggly just like that. Versus if you go fast and go straight down, consistent pressure, you're going to get that zigzag line that you want. You can stop here at this design, just a simple dip, or you can make it a little elevated and go on with the drizzle. Twist off the top of the bag so that way you have all the icing down here and none of it pushes back up this way. Have it at the palm of your hand like this. Clean off the tip a little bit, start from the top, make your way down. And then you have your drizzle strawberry. This is still like an easy beginner design. If you want to take it a step further, you can add sprinkles to the side of it. For this one, again, we're going to do the same thing. Drizzle it. We're going to add sprinkles. I like the look of it whenever the sprinkles come down on one side of it. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to go in with the little tiny hearts. Sprinkle them on top. Just like that on one side of the strawberries. Then we have this next design, easy, beginner friendly, simple, just a drizzle, and then you go in with the sprinkles on one side. If you want to do something a little bit more of a challenge, we're going to do a heart design on this one. We're going to start from this end, do a heart, swirl it around this way. Make sure that you have no clogs in your bag. Give it a go. The design came out a little bit wonky, so I'm going to give something else another try. I'm going to try to go on with these sprinkles on top, see if I can fix that. Okay, so I think we managed to save it. Filled it with the icing, did the sprinkles on top, like so, like that. I'm gonna make my red. I'm only gonna need a little bit. Portion out the pink chocolate into a smaller bowl, enough to put in a bag to drizzle. We're gonna go in with good old trusty color melt. As you can tell, this one's been used up quite a bit. For the red, to get a deep red, you are gonna add quite a bit more, so that way it can get that deeper red color. Now for the red, you wanna do the same thing. You wanna bring the sides down. I'm gonna be using a cup. Go ahead and pour the chocolate in, hold the sides back up, good to go. Push it all down, twist off, so that way the icing doesn't push back up. Then you're gonna cut the smallest bit at the bottom. Good size. Also, I don't know if y'all can see, but I also do this over parchment paper. That way I don't get it on the table or anything. I'm gonna do a combination of the two sprinkles. This one we're gonna attempt to do mini hearts, like little V's. Ta-da. So cute. Now that the strawberries are decorated, we move on to the last step, which is plating it or packaging them if you're selling them. For aesthetic purposes, I like to use the mini cupcake liners because they're a little bit smaller or about the same size as the strawberries. If you use the regular cupcake liners, the strawberries are going to look so small. So these just make it look more aesthetically pleasing. Get a liner, grab a strawberry, grab it gently on the sides and twist out the toothpick, and there you go. This is the finished outcome of the strawberries. We have these up here that are your beginner friendly ones. You can do just a regular dip, a dip berry with a drizzle, or a drizzled berry with sprinkles on the side of it, or sprinkles all over it. Another one with different sprinkles. This one right here is with the circular dotted sprinkles. Then if you want to move on to something more challenging, you can do these designs down here. This one is a drawn heart design. This one is actually tricky. It's harder than this one, and you would think it'd be the other way around, but this one's harder because it's a one-line go. As you can see right here, I messed it up, but it's okay, no pasa nada. We made a new design from it. I just filled the heart in and added sprinkles onto it, and it worked. So practice that one first on a spoon if you're gonna do it. This one's my favorite. It was the easiest one to do in my opinion. To get the hearts, all you have to do is make a little V. Super cute, pretty simple. Alrighty, so these are the finished strawberries. I think they came out so cute. Honestly, anybody can do them. If you just want to dip some strawberries at home, give it a try. Even like a little date night type of night. It's pretty affordable, easy to do. If you want to make a business out of this and sell strawberries, don't be intimidated by it. Practice makes perfect. With enough practice, you'll be able to do beautiful, amazing strawberries, all of the intricate cartoon design strawberries. Just gotta learn the basics, slowly work your way up there, and then you'll be good to go. I do plan on doing more videos like this. Let me know if you guys like this style of video. I can also do cake decorating videos, strawberry decorating videos, baking videos, all of that good stuff. I think that would be fun to like add to the channel. For those that don't know, I decorated cakes for 5 years. I think it was 5 or 6 years. I was a cake decorator. In 2020, I started my own business selling strawberries. I did that for about like a year or two. Then I decided that route wasn't for me. But if anybody wants to know my credentials on this stuff, those are my credentials. I have quite a bit of knowledge around like this topic. I would love to share all of the things that I learned over those years with you guys. So if you're interested, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you want to see next. Like I said, I have a lot to share. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, learned a thing or two from it. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.